The Bugkalot are former headhunters. Uh, they are cutting heads because of three reasons. Okay, one reason in their culture is to follow that. Okay, and that's one reason. The second reason is, oh no, that's the second reason. The third reason is if someone died, you know, it needs to be someone will also die. Ano sa atin sa Tagalog yun? Merong revenge or vendetta, right? Yeah. That if someone died, needs to be replaced by another person. Okay? And this is not only happened to the lowlanders, but also they have a tribal war inside the Bugkalot tribe. Okay? So just imagine they are former headhunters and they are wild people. In fact, in I think that was 1982, when we are there, um, we are do evangelism and do church planting, and we have already about 15 believers in the church in our church. We have a prayer meeting that particular evening, and I challenge the Christian to whatever happens to us, we will be going to continue to do the ministry. We will be going to continue to praise God in our midst. After our prayer meeting, one of the elders told me to stay because he wants to talk to me. So I stayed, my wife, because our house is just only in the front of our house. We built a church there. So my wife and our one child went home, and that elder told me, he said, my uncle wants you to leave the place, or else he will be going to cut your head. When you hear that, what is what you feel, if you hear that? Of course, uh, fear. And at that night, all the messages that I gave to the believers, turned back to me to encourage myself. But I talked to my wife. I said, because we are using a new transmission during the time we are using a small airplane, because there is no road yet in that particular area that we are serving. I talked to my wife and I said, first thing in the morning, because we have a two-way radio that we can contact the pilot, our pilot in Aritao. And I said to her, first thing in the morning, I will call the airplane. And he was surprised. I said, why? You have a very nice message. You have a very good message earlier. And why we will be going to leave this place? And I said, there's one person, an old man, that he is still wild. In fact, the headhunting activities in that tribe, they just stopped last 1985. But we were there in 1982, okay? And they were surprised, and he said, why? She said, no, we will stay. So I told her, how about if Sikwang, the name of that person is Sikwang, how about if Sikwang will be going to do that to me? And he said, no. If we feel that God really called us, in this area, we will continue to do the ministry that God has entrusted to us. So that's the good thing that you have a wife in the tribe. Okay. So that night, I cannot sleep because if the headhunter will say something, they will be going to do it. Okay. They will be going to do it. And that particular night, I cannot sleep. But of course, that night, and the Bible says that wife, obey your husband. But that time, husband, obey to your wife. So I obeyed, okay, and we stayed. But you know what? When we stayed, although there is fear, after how many years that person became a Christian? Every time he gave a testimony, okay, every time that he gave a testimony in the church, he always telling that to the believers that he wants to kill me during the time. But he's happy, until now, because he's already an old person. He's still there, but he cannot walk anymore. He cannot go to the church anymore. We just visit there in their house. A tribal missionary or going to the remote area is not an easy job for a missionary. I became a pastor in Negros for how many years? If you want to go to the other area, there's a tricycle. You know tricycle here in the Philippines? Tuk-tuk. Tuk-tuk in Thailand and in But in the tribe, if you want to go somewhere, of course, from Aritao, we'll be going to ride because we built an airstrip there inside. You know Aritao, Pan? You know Aritao? Why? Why?
My wife's from here.
From Aritao? In Nueva Vizcaya? Oh. Oh, Boni South. I know that place. Yeah. We are in the Rapidap. But now no more. We turn over to the government, and we are using now a helicopter from Tugigaraw going to the tribes. If we want to go to visit the tribal areas, we'll be going to use the helicopter now, not the airplane. But anyway, from Aritao, we'll be going to ride. The pilot will be going to bring us in to the tribe. But if we are already in the tribe, if we'll be going to visit people, we have to hike. No roads, We have to hike just to reach them. And usually, we are doing that during evening because during the daytime, they are not in their house. They are in their field. So we do that in the evening. And one time I said to myself, why we are here? Why we are here? It is nice to be a pastor in the lowland, but not here in the tribes. But we feel that God called us in that particular ministry, okay, to be a tribal ministry. But before we go on, we'll be going to learn about the Bogkalots. That's the Bogkalot attire. That's their baby. And this is that's their dance, a Bogkalot dance. Before they go to headhunting activities, they will be going to do that first. Before going to go to headhunting activity. Oops. There. After that, they have chant like something like that. You know. I don't know in Thailand or Malaysia they are doing that. They have also headhunting activities in. Okay, okay, okay. The Bugkalot, like any other people, have an innate pride in their unique culture. Okay, outsiders and lowlanders often wonder why the um, they're ashamed, unashamed, refer to themselves as such. They're very proud that they are doing that, you know, the headhunting. We call the tribe and the language Bugkalot from the word kalot, okay? Meaning interwave or interwoven, and their lifestyle is generally interwoven as can be seen in the way they built their house. They have a very unique house. They have. Did you see the picture earlier that they have a J string and they have a bolo and they have a unique attires. Okay, and their customs and native attire must also be interwoven with many colorful decoration. Sometimes, if we go to Manila, that's now they are they want us to buy that beads that's very small, and then they will be going to do that. It's like an earrings and necklace, and they are very good in doing that. Okay, and their artifacts too are traditionally interwoven with rattan or bamboo. In fact, um, they have a guitar. They did it from bamboo and other endemic natural materials like feeders, animal. They have a backpack, because they are this Bukalo tribe are also hunter. They're hunting deer, wild pig, but when they hunt wild deer, they make the skin, be a backpack, and then it's very nice. Okay, and this the Bukalo tribe, more commonly known Alulanders as Ilongots. Okay, actually, uh, their name and their tribe is really a Bukalot, but the lowlanders call them Ilongots. I will be going to explain to you later why the lowlanders um, call them Ilongot. And they are located in the northern part of island of Luzon in the Philippines, primarily in the province of Aurora, Nueva Ecija, Nueva Vizcaya, and Quirino provinces. And their population, when we arrived there in 2000, when was that? 1980, okay? 1987. And their population is only 50,000. Oh, no, no. Their population was only 16,000, sorry, because of their headhunting activities. But last 2024, their population rise up to 50,000. That's last year. There's one anthropologist went there. His name is Rosaldo. In 1980, Rosaldo notes that the Bukkalot history during the peacetime was marked by shifts in population movement between concentration and dispersal, and in the practice of head-taking. Some Bukkalot who had gotten used a lowland life before the war, even though during the war, the Japanese army ran and went to their place, and the Bukalots killed them all in that area. and the practice of head taking. Some Bukalot who had gotten used to lowland life before the war, choosing to return home from the mountains. However, increases in head hunting taking were instigated not only by intertribal feuds but by lowland fables. That's what I was telling you earlier. And such as the revolution in 1980s, or 1890s, and early 90s, 1900, and the Hawk Balahap, they called it as a leftist a group, insurgency in 1950s, when members of the Hawk retreated to the Sierra Madre Mountains after the government capture of their top officers. Some fell victim to Bukalot raids. Between 1956 and 1964, a total of 135 lowland Christians were killed by the Bugkalots. 135. The word Ilongot, is a matter of fact, is not from them. Okay? It was created by an outsider. They called it Igungot. Okay? When you remove that that's the word gungot. Okay? The meaning of that gungot is jungle. That is why the lowlanders call them Ilongot, because they are in the jungle. Okay? Because they are in the jungle. But it was accepted in their tribe because they acknowledge its general meaning, roughly translated as animists and head hunters in the jungle. Okay? It was an appropriate description of their forefathers' practices. And then no Bukalot student even attempted to explain to their teachers at the time. Later on, like 1980s, 1985s, there's already the Department of Education, they already built a school inside that particular tribe. And those students never explained to the teacher at that time. And sometimes they did not even want to be identified as Bukalot. Benguet. And those Igorots was displaced. And the Marcos government built, they call this a rehabilitation area in the Bukalot area. Although the Bukalot don't want that kind of program of the government, but later on they follow what the government is saying. But again, there are some lowlanders, there are some Igorots was beheaded, in that particular tribe. Now, New Tribes Mission Group, composed of missionaries who arrived at Taang. That's first place in Taang. Now they called it Pilaway. In fact, we put a marker there because that's a place that the missionary arrived in that particular place. That's in Taang or Pilaway in 1954. First to arrive was Filipino missionary. That's Florentino Santos. Okay. And then American Ligerman. Ligerman is our first pilot here in the Philippines. And his approach is he will buy bolos, and then if he see a good spot for landing, although the grass is quite long, he was able to land there, and then he called the Bugkalot, "Come here," like that, because he don't know how to speak the Bugkalot. And the Bugkalot just follow him, and that's our American first pilot, Ligerman, followed soon after by Marvin Graves with um, Marvin grades from the US. And with Taang as their base, the missionaries converted some 120 Bukalot in the first 2 years of their mission. But, take note, before their conversion, because of their headhunting activities, the government wants to eliminate the Bukalots. Very rampant activities of the Bukalot. Many people was killed. And then the government declared to eliminate them, to bomb them, you know. But Florentino Santos, okay, went to camp, the military camp, and talked to the commander, or talked to the what we call that during the time, maybe the general, and talked to them, and he said, "Why don't you give us first a chance, you know, to go in and evangelize these people?" So the government said, "Okay, it's up to you. You know, we heard about many news about this particular tribe, and now you want to go there." And they said, "Yeah, we know that in the name of the Lord, there will be change. So give us chance as missionary to go in." So they went in there, okay, and talked to the people. And just imagine, for 2 years, there are some 120 Bukalot in the first 2 years, okay, and their mission was converted, okay. And then in 1959, Florentino Santos married a Bukalot. She's a very beautiful woman. They have 3 children, but you know, Florentino Santos already passed away, and his wife is still alive, and they are in Cavite, because Florentino Santos is from Indang, Cavite, and they have a ministry for many years in the Bukalot. In fact, we joined the Ministry of New Tribes in the Bukalot area in 1980, 79 and 1980, you know. And in 1964, as I said earlier, we're using airstrip, 4 airstrip at Pongkan, Nueva Ecija, had been constructed for more missionary to enter, okay? More airstrip built in Gingin, Sigam, San Pugo, that's Sinabga now, or Landingan, in Kawayan, Kayat, Buayo, and Kakidugan, brought in a stream of missionaries, their families, and mission trainees. And their evangelical work, the spread of literacy and the provision of social services, dealt a significant blow to Bukalot culture. What is our strategy? That's a mission strategy. First of all, assign missionary. We send missionary. So Florentino Santos was assigned there in 1954, and later on, many missionaries assigned there, and also us as missionary, my wife and I. And one strategy is to stay with the people. The Bukalot people, they are very friendly, okay? And when they hear that there's missionary assigned in that particular areas, in the Bukalot area, they are helping us to build our house. okay? And they are already Christians during the time. So we stayed with them, with the people, ate with them, okay? It's very funny because if you visit one place to another place, in the first house, you have only to eat very little. Because if you will be going to go to the other house, you will be going to eat again. They will offer something for you. And if you will say, no, 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 I already full, don't do that. So if you will be going to visit 10 houses in one night, you have to eat in those old houses, that they will be going to offer. Don't say no to them. Florentino Santos, when he was assigned there, he looks really like a Bogcalo guy. He has a G-string and the attire of the Bogcalo, and other attire. He has also a bolo. But still, many Bogcalots wants to kill him. One time he's sleeping under the tree, and when he woke up, he saw a spear of the was in his head, up in his head, on top of his head. In other words, many Bogcalots really wants to kill him. But Florentino believes that that God really called him in that particular tribe, and he will continue to evangelize the Bogcalo people. Learn their language. Okay. First, we need to learn their language. Early in the morning, we have to go with them, to go to their house, and just talk to them. Some other people is not really good in learning language. Some of our missionaries. I thank the Lord because just only 2 weeks I was able to teach using Bogcalo when we were there. And this time I know 8 languages. I was assigned in Palawan, I was assigned in Kalanguya tribe, and some other, the Igorots, and some other places. And until now, still I know how to speak, Kalanguya, in Coron, Palawan, and some other places also. I know how to speak Ilocano because in that area, the Barod, that particular Ilocano, and I know how to speak Ilocano. I know how to speak Sambal because my wife and I also assigned in Agta, in the Negrito tribe before. So I can consider myself a linguistic. So we need to learn the language. They can understand Tagalog if you talk to them. But some of the old people don't know how to speak Tagalog and Ilocano. Still, we will be going to maintain to use their own Bogcalo language. And also, we feel that if we will be going to use their own language, it is easy for them to understand us, if we will be going to use their language. Learn their culture. Okay. My culture is different doon sa culture nila, and their culture. I have a Visayan. If we'll be going to cook, we have a lot of soup from Visaya. Kaya when we get married, I want her to always cook because sometimes he said, why is it that there's a lot of soup if you are cooking our food. And they said, that's Visayan food. And, and their culture is really a big different than our culture. So we don't need to follow their bad culture, okay? But we need to be aware. We need to be aware if we were there and their culture. Because if we don't know how to deal with them using their culture, we have a big problem. Okay? We'll be having a big problem. So we need to learn their culture. So if we'll be going to talk to them, there's no culture baggage. In other words, my culture, I cannot, I will not be going to bring it into their culture. So it is very important for us to learn their language and learn their culture. Okay, I really want to learn Malaysian when we were there, but it seems to be very far from my ear. Maybe it's not easy to learn Malaysian. Yeah. And then after that, we do evangelism. Okay, we do evangelism. We teach them also how to read and write. We called it literacy, teaching them how to read and write. My wife did that for how many years?
2 years.
2 years when he's still single in the among the tribes. The hike for whole day just to reach one village, just to teach the old people,
It's not young.
because if we will be going to do translation of the Bible, if they don't know how to read and write, they cannot read their Bible, So we have to, we have to teach them how to read and write. Okay? Oh, no more. I want to show to you the overall ministry of New Tribes Mission. Okay, thank you very much. Do you have any question about the ministry of new tribes and the tribal area?
You have also missionaries in Malaysia.
Yeah, we have missionary also in Malaysia. Uh, it's in the I think they are minister. I think they are we are ministering there to the like a Filipino Muslim in Sabah. In Sabah, yeah. Yes, do you have questions? If you want to visit us, we can use our helicopter to go inside. uh, okay, yeah, we have a program. We called it um, a church, churches from the lowland or young people. If you want to go and visit the,
Mission exposure.
they call it mission exposure, we can accompany you. Don't worry, there is no headhunting anymore.
No more, no more. Ay, ilan ang church sa Bungkalot?
We have already 37 churches amongst the Bogkalot area.
They're the one teaching
And
people.
when we were there, we have no Bible school in that in the Bogkalot churches, but we trained them when we were there. We trained leaders, and now they are the one teaching their own people, and they reach out their own people, and now we have 37 churches. Our ministry now is in Bangbang, Nueva Vizcaya, because no need for us to be there because there's already a pastor, a leader, a Bogkalot leader. We put up a dormitory for the tribal kids who are studying, students who are studying in the lowland. Before, they just stayed somewhere else, and nobody taking care of them. And my wife and I praying that if we can put up a dormitory for those tribal kids from the tribes, because you know what, it's a very big difference. If they are in their place and then they transferred immediately to the lowland, first about how many months they are okay, but after how many 1 year or 2 years, the lowlanders are taking advantage and teach them bad attitude in the lowland. But when we put up that particular dormitory, we have a fellowship every Thursday, we have a worship every Sunday, and we're really taking care of them. They are from Ifugao, they are from Kankanae tribe, they are from Ibaloy tribes, Kalanguya tribes, and the Bogkalot tribes in that area. So if you want to visit tribal area, just let me know. If the place that there is no road, we can use the helicopter, going in that particular area. But now we have cemented road going to Gingin, that before are very muddy and so. You have more questions?
Are there any restrictions on who can visit?
No. At this time, no more restriction. Before, when they are practicing the headhunting, they will be going to feed you first. They will be going to feed you first with wild deer and wild pig. But tomorrow, they will be going to cut your head.
No, they are already.
Now, no more headhunting anymore. And they're very, very friendly Christian in the tribe. So no restriction. Even though the government, there's no restriction. Go.
The reason I asked that is we have a few northeast Indian states which have very similar tribal populations who were also headhunters many, many years ago.
Where is that area?
In the northeast part of India,
Oh yeah, yeah. In your
there's
India.
a couple of states, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, who all, but to this state, the government still has restrictions on who can visit some of those places.
Yeah. But here in the Philippines, there are some restriction in Mindanao, you know, amongst the Muslim area. There's also some restriction in one particular tribe in Abra, you know, that you have to go first to to ask permission to the police and to the governor if we can go in and have a survey, but amongst the Longot and some other areas like Ibalo, Ifugao, no more restriction. Okay? Are you blessed this presentation?
Yes.
Thank you very much.